So, Pat, you mentioned the games at noon. Some of the TV times are starting to trickle out. And obviously the first weekend, August 31st, that's going to be Labor Day weekend. That game is at noon. And we have found Fox, by bringing back the noon game, the big noon kickoff, that game is on ABC, but it'll be at noon. So they are grabbing that time slot themselves, ESPN, rather than go prime time with Clemson, Georgia, which I'm almost certain that Charlotte game was in prime time. Big noon kickoff the next 2 weeks. Texas at Michigan is at noon. Alabama at Wisconsin is at noon. That's noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. So look, newsflash, sources, television runs the sport. Okay. I don't know if you guys have heard this. And newsflash, sources, television executives are interested in high ratings. They want many people to watch the game so they sell these things called commercials. Everyone makes money. And obviously it's not new that all these leagues are basically led around by their television partners. But this is the riddle. They get really great ratings at noon. People want to watch college football at noon, they found out, which seemed to have been against the consensus as recently as a few years ago. But now they get great ratings for noon. But if you are a fan of the team, noon, and you were going to watch anyway, you're a Wisconsin fan, you watch all the Badger games, noon doesn't really do it for you. You'd rather it be at night. And if you are going to go to the game, or you are going to have one of these big football weekends, noon is the least desirable time. And so Clemson versus Georgia, rather than a whole day build up in Atlanta and everyone having a good time, and then you play at 7 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever it is, even 4, like the SEC title game, let alone Ann Arbor and Madison the next weekends, where you could have an all-day tailgate. The weather is it could be hot, but it's also usually nice. You want a night game. It might be cooler. The weather might be terrific. September in Wisconsin, are you kidding me? It's fantastic. And you get the whole party, the whole weekend. Alabama Crimson Tide coming to Madison, coming to Camp Randall. Like, that's one of the greatest college football party weekends you're ever going to have. The pageantry, everything. It doesn't really get a whole lot better than that. It's as good as it gets. Whether the game's competitive or not, I think it'll be pretty competitive. But regardless, you got Alabama coming north to Madison. This is fantastic. And the thing's at 11 a.m. It's hard to get a tailgate set up, let alone, how drunk can you get? But let's say we're going to keep it within the reasonable bounds. It's just like, how early can you get there? Like, usually the gates might open at 6, like driving in from it. Like, there's only so much time to get set up. You're having breakfast food. Like, you can't do all the stuff. So there's been a lot of frustration for the fans. Are they right? Like, what do you, I know there's nothing that's going to happen, but you feel the pain of our fans that want more than just the game, because college football is more than just the 60 minutes that get played, and don't really care whether there may or may not be an extra 500,000 TV audience.
Yeah. I will say, it doesn't matter. Of course, the fans can, as you said, the fans can complain to high heaven that the TV will have the games when TV wants to have the games, and the schools will roll over, as they always do, and say, sure. And the big noon thing has been a huge success for Fox, so they ain't stopping that. It's my experience that there's never actually really a good time to play. The fans will complain no matter what. If it's a night game, then the older fans are like, well, we're not going to be leaving the stadium till 11:30. We're old. We got to drive home. So there's always complaints on all sides of this. Howard Schnellenberger, when he was at Louisville, used to say the perfect time to play is 4 in the afternoon.
I kind of agree.
Have fun before the game, and you can go to dinner after the game. I mean, I thought he was right, really.
Smoke a pipe before the game, smoke a pipe after the game.
That's right, yes.
Depends what's in the pipe, depends how the game goes.
Smoke a brisket before, smoke a pipe afterwards, whatever, yeah. But But no, look, those noon, especially when it's an 11 a.m. start, that is tough. That is tough on the college kids, but they tend to get ready. They tend to get out there and get after it. I know that. The one that always sticks out to me is a little bit cruel and unusual is the Red River game in Dallas that's often an 11 a.m. start. And that city goes so hard the night before because most of the people are coming in. I mean, there's plenty of Dallas residents who go to the game and are fans of either school, but there's an awful lot of people that come in from elsewhere. And Friday night in Dallas is absolutely on fire. And then the next day, people are dragging around that Cotton Bowl and the state fairgrounds, which are very hard to get into. So that's a tough 11 a.m. game. So I do feel badly for them. And then wait until the West Coast schools are being asked to play home games at, I don't know, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. as part of the Big Ten.
They'll do 9.
See how early they can. I mean, Big Noon. Big Noon is 9 a.m. in Los Angeles, Eugene, and Seattle. We'll see. They may be saying now, we wouldn't do that to you. Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it.
Yeah.
I have little doubt. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough dealing with the noon kickoffs, but this is the sport the way they have it engineered. And again, the TV execs do not care whether the fans are inconvenienced.
I think the perfect time is between 3 and 4 to kick that ball off. You got plenty of time to build up, and then the traffic doesn't kill you after. I think the night game problem is the traffic out. Especially you're putting 100,000 in places that shouldn't have 100,000. So NFL is bad enough, but NFL stadiums are generally speaking in the middle of a massive city that has, 3 interstates crossing through it, and you can get them out, and people can take public transportation. They can all that stuff. College football, the traffic jam after a game. I know we've all covered the late game, and you sit there and if it's a blowout, you get excited. If it's a home team getting blown out, it's kind of exciting because you start seeing them. You start seeing the tail lights leaving. You're like, one less person's going to stop me from driving 2 hours after so I can get my 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning, right?
Amen.
So, yeah, try going to State College for there's not a whole lot better than the night whiteout game in State College, right? Until it's over. Then it's not so good. 4 hours to Harrisburg or something like that. Not fun. So I love that late afternoon game. But, you just think, oh, man, Alabama is coming to Wisconsin. This is just going to be fantastic. What's the worst possible time they could have come up with? 11 a.m.
11. Yep. No, and you're right. That is going to be the most anticipated home game there, and who knows how long.
Yeah.
And that is a place they will go hard Friday night no matter what.
Yeah, they'll go hard in the morning too. I have faith in them. I'm not scared.
No.
I'm
those
not
Badger
scared.
Those Badger fans go.